Welcome everyone. This is the Waste Site Cleanup Advisory Committee. Meeting is held the third Thursday of the month. In between these meetings, we also hold Waste Site Cleanup office hours. So on a monthly basis, there's an opportunity to check in, get program updates. Today's meeting, we wanted to hold an advisory committee meeting, make sure the advisory committee was here as we're getting closer to the MCP effective date of March 1st and to cover some additional updates. So now the next challenge for me will be to share my screen. The agenda for today's meeting, I'm going to start with some general program updates. Then I'll give some updates as to where we are with the implementing the 2024 MCP amendments, and I'm going to share that material with Ken, who will talk about implementation of some of the supporting guidance materials, and he'll talk about other guidance that Waste Site Cleanup has under development. David Foss will provide us with a brownfields update. So then Brian will talk about exposure pathway mitigation measures. There are some reg changes related to that, as well as Brian manages the program for registration of those systems, and he'll talk about the annual compliance letters that we send out that are upcoming. Then I'll cover information related to EPA's PFAS roadmap, including the status of the federal MCL and where the department is on awaiting news of the federal MCL. And then I will also talk about recent guidance that EPA has put out on lowering of lead screening values related to residential properties. So to start, I want to give you some news about the Waste Site Cleanup Advisory Committee membership. Many of you may have heard this already, but at late in the year, in December, I heard from Ned Abelson that he is retiring. I assume now retired. And as many of you know, Ned is a longstanding member of the Waste Site Cleanup Advisory Committee. I'm very sad to see him go. He has always been a great contributor to this group, and especially in his role as the representing the real estate and commercial lending concerns of the program. He's been involved with many rounds of commenting on the MCP and organizing groups in NIOP to provide us comments on the regulations, among other things. And I've always found him to be incredibly constructive and just pleasant to deal with. And I will really miss his contributions to this group. I wanted to also pause, and I know that many of you have also worked with Ned for a long time. So if anyone is interested in adding comments about Ned's role in the program, I invite you to jump in if you'd like.
It's too bad Ned wasn't here to listen and hear that, because I concur, but Ned's not here today, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Michelle. Ned, even in delivering kind of pointed concerns about the program, has always done it in the nicest of ways, which makes you very receptive to hear it. So
I will say I've served on this science advisory board with Ned for probably most of his tenure, and I've always found his comments very to the point, reasonable, brings a different viewpoint than where I come from. So it's been very helpful for me. And I think for the entire group. And I would love to see, Liz, I hope that DEP might send him a letter of thanks and maybe sign it by all of us on the Bureau of Wayside Cleanup Advisory Committee?
Yes,
That would be awesome.
yes, we can certainly do that. That's a
Thank
great
you.
suggestion.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Okay, well, thank you. So in other program updates, we had a request to provide you updates on information related to the LSP board. As you know, the LSP board has added staff recently, and I reached out to Terry Wood, who is now the executive director of the board, to provide these updates. So in terms of the LSP board staff, the board is now fully staffed, which is excellent news. In addition to Terry, there is a relatively new general counsel, Jared Muggio, and Jared, I believe I saw at the beginning of this meeting, so he's online. Jared, if you feel free to jump in if you like. The program coordinator, Natasha Dix, and investigator and continuing ed coordinator, Matthew Line. And Natasha and Matthew have been with the board for some time. It's really such a positive step to have the board fully staffed and the board staff fully staffed, as well as the board. There is at this point one seat open, which if you go to the Board of Registration website, you can find more information on it. It's open to a non-LSP who is member of a statewide organization that promotes environmental protection. The board chair position, I believe, as you know, is Millie Garcia Serrano has been serving in that position, but there is expected to be an announcement of a new board chair. That position is appointed by DEP's commissioner, so we expect that to be happening soon. We're actually expecting we might be able to provide that information today. So that's the update, and we continue to be encouraged by all that the board has accomplished, especially most recently with online ability to do submittals and other things along that line. Moving on to DEP's hiring, I think I've mentioned at our office hours and previous meetings that DEP has had a real push on to hire what we've been referring to as expansion positions. So these are to add to the total number of DEP staff beyond just backfilling positions for people that have left the department through retirements recently. And the department had 70 plus positions that it was trying to fill over a short period of time. Many of those were directed at climate resiliency type positions in the water program. There were air positions. With respect to wayside cleanup, the positions that we posted were related to PFAS as well as environmental justice. The department over that short period of time is at the point where it's either filled or made offers to or about to have these new staff take their positions. I think we're at a rate of 85% or more having accomplished that hiring over that short period of time. So that's great news. There are some positions probably the next time we meet that we can talk about in terms of wayside cleanup hiring for those expansion positions. I've also been mentioning that there's a data management transition going on in wayside cleanup much of this is behind the scenes, our internal data management, how DEP staff gets our information on notifications and other documents that we upload to the system, how we enter that information. This transition's been going on for over a year, and it's getting to a point where it will be launched internally, and hopefully we'll see how well that works and continue to tweak it. It is also tied into our data portal. We don't anticipate that you'll see changes related to that, but we'll be testing that. This work has all been done under the leadership of Matthew Fitzpatrick in Wayside Cleanup. And I want to recognize Matt's great contribution to the department on this effort. He's truly exceptional. And he's also, unfortunately for us, he's also retiring. I think today may actually be his last day. Some of you may remember Matt coming to committee meetings with students from Worcester WPI and presenting on the use of machine learning to comb the wayside cleanup data and extract information from our wayside cleanup files using machine learning. The innovative work like that is what Matt's always brought to the job, and he's has been a real advocate for greater accessibility to the public, to the information we have, and greater efficiency to our department staff. So we spend less time pressing buttons and trying to figure out our data management systems. So again, another big loss to us, and I wanted to recognize Matt's contributions. On the technical assistance grant front, I think you all know we had a round of technical assistance grants that were due. The submittal date was in October. We received 8 applications, so that's 3 years running that we've increased the participation in the technical assistance grant program. Wayside Cleanup has reviewed those, made their final recommendations on the technical assistance grants, but we're still not yet, it has not yet been publicly put out there. This is a process that runs up through the governor's office. So we do expect that soon as well. So if you're among those waiting to hear about your technical assistance grant, we're hopeful that that information, those awards will be out very soon. DEP has also is also doing a round of MassDEP grants related to prevention of marine oil spills, readiness activities and equipment. It's very kind of broad availability of that grant to the types of projects that could qualify. We put that grant out in December. We're still in the process of reviewing those applications. We received 14 different proposals, a broad range of different proposals and very exciting proposals. So more on that later.